Ladies and gentlemen, today marks a complete new day in this new journey, and today I'm going to reveal to you the one business model that absolutely no one is talking about, yet it made me $52,000 in the last 4 months at just 18 years old. And all starting from scratch with absolutely no previous experience whatsoever. So let's get into it straight away. Here you can see just a few of my previous results in the last 30 days. We've had a lot of payouts already. And overall, let's dive deeper into it and let's get straight to it. This business model is called client acquisition. Why is it so good is the exact reason because no one is talking about it. Absolutely no one on the internet is yet talking about it. And this business model is not some new way of e-commerce. It's not some new way of dropshipping or some new kind of form of Amazon FBA or whatever. It's absolutely none of that. And it's a new business model, and it's not going to be a business model that will stay here for 3 months and then will be forgotten forever. This is a business model that will be alive, is alive, was alive yesterday, is going to be alive today, and is going to be alive in the next 5 years. Always, no matter how saturated the market gets, client acquisition will always rule the game. And today in this video, I will better explain to you because so far I'm pretty sure you're probably lost and probably as lost as I was when I first found out about this business model. However, before we dive any deeper into it and actually how to start making money, or in my case, make $52,000 in 4 months with client acquisition, I want you to know that it didn't come easy. I'm telling you here that I started 4 months ago, but I never started business 4 months ago. I started business 2 years ago. So here you can see 2 years ago, I was actually jumping in a fucking dumpster because I used to work in a restaurant. I was working at a restaurant at 16 years old. I was making $5 an hour, working 14-hour work days in 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which is around 40 degrees Celsius, all day long, like 14 hours on my legs. I was the guy who was actually putting the fries in the bag. Back in the day, that was all I was doing, and I had absolutely no drive, no passion, no hobbies. I wasn't hitting the gym. I had no sports that I was doing. Absolutely nothing that, a regular human being should have. I had none of that. All I had was this horrible work, and the only issue was that making $5 an hour, I was making like $700, $800 a month, which at that time felt absolutely fucking great. But only now I realize how fucked my life actually was. And that's when I realized I'm done. I want to quit this life. I'm ready to do whatever it takes to achieve something better. And in November of 2023, I had a day that pretty much changed my life forever. I started out in copywriting. For those of you who know, this is Tyson Scales, Tyson 4D, whatever, call him what you want, but this guy was an absolute G, my first mentor in a way. I was learning copywriting from him. It went absolutely great. I was into copywriting for around 4 or 5 months, sleepless nights. As you can see here, December, I was learning about much more than just copywriting. I was getting into digital marketing as well, watching Grant Cardone live streams, Tyson's live streams, watching all these, kind of shiny business model live streams online every night because I thought that one of those live streams is finally going to get me into the business model that will make me rich one day. And that was approximately 2 years ago, December of 2023. And just after 4 months and believing in myself, believing in my skill, reaching out to people every day, building the empire of my copywriting business, in April of 2024, I received my first online money ever. I received a $95 payout from this one fitness coach that I was working with, and all I actually did was just like write emails, write scripts for him. But overall, it took me like 4 hours of work every single day to generate this first online money. However, as you can see, with my first online money, I bought myself my first pair of Jordans. So in a way, it was pretty nice. I realized that the only online money works. I was in there for 4 months, was making absolutely nothing, and then I somehow made $100 just like that. And as we were going forward, I was making $100, $200 every month. In June of 2024, started hopping calls. I started learning new strategies pretty much every single day, not only copywriting, but overall marketing, overall sales, trying to always gather something more. And I felt like I was on the right path. And this was the first summer when I didn't go to that horrible restaurant job again. I just stayed home every single day of that summer, simply working on my empire. And the summer is quite fast. Summer ended in just 3 months, and in August of 2024, I met the guy who pretty much changed my journey. Maybe not a lot of you know about him, but it's Dustin Verano, this guy who is in growth operating. Back in the day, I had no clue what that's all about, but basically, he was scaling info products, and now he wanted to get into coaching. He had built out his like low ticket product, like a Discord community in which he was coaching people how to get into it. And accidentally, completely accidentally, I was following him for like 3 months at that point. I became the head of sales. I became the head of sales in his team. And that's when I realized, well, this is huge. I dropped every client I had up until that point because I made $250 in commissions after just 3 days of working with him. And all I had to do was really just sell people into his community. And that's when I came to realize, like, wow, the online money thing, it works. And I kind of started diving deeper into it. This one guy, he brought me more and more referrals, a lot more people that I started to kind of notice in the space. And from September to October, I was making around $300 every single week just from these commissions. And as you can already calculate, I was touching really, really close to 1K a month. I was not there yet because the commissions, well, commission work is commission work. You may never know. You're going to make 1K this week, you're going to make nothing next week. But it felt pretty good. I realized I'm doing something right. And after all, this one client was so big in the industry that I kind of knew that if I rock it with him, everything is going to be good for me. However, that was not really my path because in November of 2024, I realized that instead of helping him get more sales, I should just do what he was doing, which was info scaling. And I was being taught by him every single day. Like he was telling me everything. I was getting to see his YouTube videos first before anyone else. All the value he was putting in his mentorship, I gained the access to for free. And that's when I thought, like, let me get started to it. And I actually thought I've uncovered it. I've uncovered it. It's finally gonna happen. In November, I got my first client. And for my client, I closed a $1,000 deal. In the beginning, it was all just commissions. And I collected $250 overnight. Money I used to make in a week, I made overnight. And that's what made me realize, like, shit, I'm getting into some real good stuff. So I stopped working in his sales team, logically, because I kind of stole his business model. And I had gotten my first creator. And after spending around 8 hours a day, because at this point, growth operating, info scaling was my whole life. Spending 8 hours a day for a whole month, I thought like I have finally uncovered what worked best. I thought it's gonna work out, like it has to work out now. And it quite did because I added $30,000 to my very first growth operating client. And as you can see here, it was going pretty well. We were selling a lot of mentorships, a lot of courses. Marketing was at its peak. And so entering 2025, beginning of this year in January, I got offered a $1,000 a month agreement by him. But it sounded quite cool, right? Getting paid $1,000 a month from one client, it was like my dream. Back in the day, it was all I could think about. And so I thought, well, 100%, 100%, let's do it. But then I ran up the numbers and I quite came to realize that making $1,000 a month, working 8 hours a day without any weekends, is pretty much like being paid $4 an hour. And at this point, it quite made me realize like I could go back to my restaurant job and make more. So maybe it's not really that good. Because after all, I was still exchanging my time for money. That was all I was doing. And as the ultra intellectually advanced creator I am, I gladly accepted the offer and kept up with this fucking enslavement. And as you can see, before school, like I was still going to school, I was staying up till 4, 5 a.m. every single night, sleeping 3, 4 hours only. And yeah, I was stuck at 1K. However, I got a raise to 1.7K in this 1 month in April because we scaled him to $50,000 cash collected in Creator's business. Now, quite make me realize that by scaling someone to 50K, you should be making way more than 1.7K. But it is what it is. I made 1.7K and I was quite happy, but at this point, everything had become blank because, as I told you, like, I wasn't sleeping. I was only working on this one client. I had no vision for the future. I had no clue what I'm gonna do, what's my next step, and how we're gonna scale it. Because as I was scaling him, I continued making the same amount of money. And in May of 2025, right before this summer, I knew I was meant for more. I knew that after all, this online shit is working out. It's working out really well. Yet, it's not enough for me to skip college. It's not enough for me to retire, never look for a job in my life again. And so I had to continue. I had to continue with 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night. Face the worst burnout of my life. That's another thing for another video, but I actually almost went blind overnight just because of a burnout. And that quite simply resulted in the loss of my growth operating client. This one client that I had, I just lost him. I thought, I'm fucked. Like, I'm cooked. I've lost the only money that I had. And that now left me at point A with $0 a month in revenue in May. And here we were. The summer began. I had no work. Now I had lost all my clients. It was June of 2025. And here you can see, even at 5 a.m., I was still taking notes. I was still thinking. I was still trying to brainstorm, get the best idea, understand what I could be doing, what's wrong, why is it not working out anymore, and afraid of ending up like this. And logically, I had just finished school, so only path that I could have taken was either college or a fucking job. And I know I don't want to go to a job, never. So I realized that even though I might not be rocking with my growth operating client anymore, the one thing that we were always doing great with my team, when we were trying to get deeper into growth operating, we were running cold DMs and we were booking 3 to 5 calls every single month just with cold DMs. And that's how we acquired ourselves with way more opportunities than any regular guy would like ever face in their entire life. We were getting those calls every single month. However, our fulfillment was quite shit. We were never closing them. However, we were getting them on the calls. And after this, only thing I could do was like, run a quick gig. So I put together a plan, offered my support to a few friends I had in the info scaling agency, in the info scaling industry overall, and a few connections that I had made along the way. And as you can see, these people, they were paying me from $50 a month to $200, $300, just for me to run the outreach for them and for me to get the clients for them. And as you can see, in June, after just losing my only client and falling back down to $0, I came up with this complete accident. Like, it was a complete accident to get into this, but after just the month of June, I had cash collected $600, which was definitely shit because I was making 3 times more with one client. Now I was running outreach, but it opened my eyes on a complete new industry. And I'm not going to be a liar to say that I knew what I was doing, because I didn't understand the shit I was doing. I had no clue. What am I doing with those cold DMs? Like, what's the plan with that? How am I actually going to get the bookings for them? But I continued the brainstorm. I was making at least a bit of money. And so in July of 2025, this will sound like a joke, but I got really drunk. I got really drunk one night, really fucked up with my friends, and well, I was pretty like zoned out. I was thinking about this one guy that I was running the outreach for, and he had this he had a issue within his system. Whatever we would do, we would not be able to get him clients. Plus, I was spending so much of my time. I was spending like 2-3 hours for this guy. He was paying me like $200, $300 a month. I started playing around on N8N, and I built this completely random N8N workflow just to see if I could help him out. And in August, we tested it on him. We tested this exact strategy, and as you can see, instead of paying me $200, he now paid me $500. Why is that? Because we filled his schedule with 20 qualified appointments from an N8N workflow that I made up while I was fucking drunk. I still don't know how I made it. I don't know what I watched. I was zoned out, but I made it. And next month, August, we made 500 euros, which was around $600. So now we were making that with one client. Next thing I know, we ran up $25,000 in September. As you can see in the payouts, this shit is going absolutely wild. In August, we made around $600. In September, we ran up 25K. And if you want to take a look at it again, 2 years ago, I was in a fucking dumpster. I was jumping in a dumpster, working in a restaurant, putting fries in the bag. Today, 2 years later, traveling the world, taking my girl to the nicest restaurants, not counting my money like a fucking brokey. I don't give a shit. I have enough of it. And I finally uncovered a business that I'm pretty happy that I will be running next month. I'm pretty happy I'm going to be running it in a year. And I'm pretty sure I'm still going to be running the same business after 10 years because client acquisition works. And just to recap, it took me 6 months from the very beginning of my journey, from November 2023, to get to my first money online. Most people, they would have given up straight away. No one's going to spend 6 months working 6 to 8 hours every day without making a single buck. Took me 6 months, I got to my first dollar. Another 8 months to hit my first $1,000 a month. And then another 4 months to go back to $0 a month. That's how fucking simple it is. I was in it for almost 2 years and I went back to zero. And now, another 4 months later, we're looking forward to hit $100,000 a month by the end of this year. Just like that. And, okay, let's get into the juicy thing. How the fuck did I manage to pull this off? Because, like, let's be fair. I was at $0 4 months ago. How the fuck did we make 25K in September? Altogether running up 52K in the last 4 months. Client acquisition process. So, how does client acquisition actually work? It has two sides. Client acquisition, so to give you the overall explanation, is that you have a business and you have the business's ICP, the people who want their product. But let's say that business hasn't attracted that ICP, neither with their content, neither with their paid ads, nothing. So the potential client doesn't know about the business yet. What you do, you are the middleman. You are the middleman right here, and you connect the agency, which is your client, with their potential client, which is ICP. And while you're standing in the middle, connecting them both, you start making percentages of every sale. But let's go from the very beginning. So how does it actually work? How do you get your first client? Because it's super easy to talk about these great business models online. Always has been, but how do you get clients? Everyone's always had issues with getting clients. But in client acquisition, your main target is to be helped to other people get more clients. So it's quite logical. You need to know how to get clients yourself. So first thing, you have Instagram. Everyone has Instagram nowadays. If you still don't, download it right now. Instagram, it's not a social media anymore. Instagram is where businesses move. Every entrepreneur you will see online these days are making most conversions through Instagram, and it's just a fact. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be running automated lead gen processes straight from Instagram. Doesn't cost a lot. It costs a few $100s for my agency to run it through Apify and ChatGPT connection. And what do? We get $5,000 to $10,000 leads every single day, just from Instagram, just from people that you can find on Instagram. Logically, you can do it just manually as well, but you're never going to be able to get 5,000 leads in a day. And what we do next is we simply DM them. And as you can see, one of my previous conversations, we just dived into a conversation offering this guy that we could get him 3 to 5 more clients. 3 to 5 more clients in a month, and would he be able to take them on right away? And he was pretty interested. He said that would make him another $7,000 to $15,000. And after diving deeper into the conversation, boom, he was offering a time off his own schedule when he would love to hop on a call. And here it is. We closed him just 2 weeks ago, just from a simple DM like this. So all you do, again, you generate leads of the people you think you could help acquire more clients. You reach out to them, and you set appointments through Calendly, in which you run reminder sequences, making sure that not a single lead is missed. So let's say you book a call with someone. It wouldn't be cool if you missed a call, you never made it up for it, or they never joined. You would have lost thousands of dollars. I have lost thousands of dollars this way in the last pretty much 30 days, but after implementing reminder sequences that will actually just take you like 20 minutes to sort out, people are going to be hopping on your appointments. And then there's the other side. Well, now that you've acquired a client for yourself, it's quite logical that you could be acquiring clients for them as well with the same thing. And that's exactly what you do. That's what is so good about this business, because if you get clients for yourself, you are going to be getting clients for your clients now with the same system in a way. So what we use is straight sales mechanism. You would be reaching out to people one-to-one, to people who are ICP, ideal client profile of the agency that you're now working with. And you would use Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, emails, WhatsApp, even cold calls, everything. Putting all the leads that you sort out, again, you can just do it with the automation, putting all the leads in the CRM. And once you've inputted hundreds or even thousands or tens of thousands of leads into one CRM, which I would love to use is Go High Level. And now that you've collected their contact information, you can start running email and SMS sequences straight into their inbox. Plus, you can add in WhatsApp and call AI agents. And this is the one thing that not a lot of people are going to tell you, not a lot of people are talking about. You are not going to be having to run 5,000 outreaches manually, because that would just be slavery. You would be doing like 16 hours of work every day. No one wants to do that. You can automate this shit with AI. Set up AI agents for WhatsApp, set up AI agents for cold calls, and this shit is run fully by AI. And this way, you're standing in the middle, you're running these operations that you can see right here, and your agency, your client, is now getting the clients that you are pushing towards his way. So you are targeting their ICP, their potential client, just by standing in the middle and connecting them both. And as mentioned previously, you make 15 to 20% of every sale. And let's imagine I was working with an agency that was offering two offers. Have been working with an agency, just because of NDA, I can't really mention their name here, but they have two offers, a $5,000 a month done for you service and $3,000 a month done with you service. And what do? We make 15 to 20% of every sale, assuring we collect $600 to $750, the exact money I was making a month, just 2 months ago. Now, making that money off every sale that we bring in. And all you got to do on the potential client side, you got to pre-qualify them before the call, just by running a simple type form their way to understand if they would be qualified, if they have the budget. After which, you set the appointment. And all that the agency on the other side has to do, they confirm the appointments. And there you have it. They hop on a call and they struck up a partnership. And from this partnership, you make the middleman's commission. Might sound boring, might sound like a ton of work, but the reason why this works so well is that it can be scaled infinitely with infinite numbers of clients, with lead gen and qualifying being fully delegated to AI, and outreach being delegated over to AI and also controlled by trained VAs. So in the long run, all you really have to do is simply acquire more clients into your business and acquire them with as much clients as possible. Theoretically assuring that you can make from all the way from $5,000 all the way to $20,000 from one client now. And you don't even have to be there. You don't have to be switching your time for money, because everything is now happening automatically. And just to explain, why is this not just another shiny business model? First of all, client acquisition. Look at businesses around you. Look at a restaurant, a cafe, or an agency out there. Businesses work because they get clients. Businesses will always need clients. Logically, they will always need someone like you who can get them clients. That's why client acquisition works. Second of all, it's about sales. And if you haven't done your research yet, high ticket sales is the absolute best skill you can have in 2025. I have guys on my team who are working on multiple deals aside from my team, bringing in $50,000, $60,000 every month, or I actually have my own personal closer who's running high ticket sales. He's doing the most important sales part. He's closing the clients, and he made $20,000 just last week from closing calls, from closing deals in 1 week, all because he's taking calls. That's how big high ticket sales are. And third of all, it's too easy. I just mentioned to you, you're not switching your time for money anymore. You delegate to people on your team and you automate with AI. And that's how simple it is to run up money in this market. And so to finalize the video, this is my current strategy, like the full on step by step. No one else is going to tell you about it. But overall, so what do? Is that first of all, we discovered a platform-based niche. We discover an Instagram-oriented niche for optimal reach, because Instagram is really the very beginning, the most important platform, the most simplest platform for this business model. Someone who had no inbound flow, so they need a better way. They need outbound to get clients. And they sell high ticket service, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 and more. And can, or actually need, to be scaled urgently. I will be showing you the full process in my very next video, but all we do next is reach out and book a discovery call with them, build out a presentation in regards to their current scaling issues and potential fixes, showing outbound as like the main thing that could be done. You just give them a fuck ton of free value. Uncover what can be done for their front end, for their back end, which is like super low hanging fruits. You can just get it done in the first day. Have setters placed on burner accounts, running outreach for them, optimized Apify flow for automatic lead gen, and you just start setting appointments and close deals for them, grabbing 15 to 20% percentage for every client that you get them. And from there, you just continue to scale it further, acquiring more burners and maximizing the outbound reach to set more appointments. Logically, if you're getting them 10 clients, why wouldn't you go for 20? You begin to delegate and automate with AI just to free up your hands off the deep, dirty work, just to free up your schedule as much as possible to be able to take on as many clients as possible. Use the organic and paid traffic for warm lead flow in their businesses. Store all the leads in a CRM. And this is one thing most people just forgot about. Circle back to them every week, every month, or even year, because money is in the follow-ups. And so, if you want to take the shortcut and get started with all the tricks and secrets by hand straight away, I will be running a 5-day workshop in November, together with my partner, with whom we've helped agencies across the globe add more than $4 million in outbound revenue. What I want you to do now: subscribe with notifications to be the first to get notified for the opening and my next value drop. And make sure to follow me on Instagram. It's under the video in the captions, for as much value as possible, because I'm posting there every single day. And just to finish up the video, here you can see all the results we've made in September for our clients. You can see numbers of 11, 15, 20K just standing right here. And yep, in the very next video that I host, I will be showing you exactly how we do it and showing you the full step-by-step process of how you're going to land your first client and start making your first $10,000 to $20,000 a month from one client, just like that, without having to waste your time for money. Instead, now exchanging knowledge for as much money as possible. And just for you to remember, 2 years ago, I was in a dumpster. Today, smoking cigars, working out, eating in expensive fuck restaurants, traveling the world, and I'm not in college and I will never go for a fucking 9 to 5.